Welcome to the Geekz 31 Days of Horror for Halloween. This is Lil.
This is Steve.
And this is Sean.
And tonight we're reviewing No One Will Save You, a Hulu original from 2023. So for those of you who have not been with us before, we will play for you our rating system.
Has a rating system in place that we like to call 0 to 0. If whatever horror movie we're reviewing is terrifying only to the most infantile who get nightmares from PG-13 reboots, it gets a 0. If it's a gorgasm-inducing slaughter party that satiates your most devious and monstrous desires, it gets a hero.
An exiled, anxiety-ridden homebody must battle an alien who's found its way into her home.
That is not what happened.
More than that, but that's what IMDb tells me. So, starring Caitlin Dever. Really her. I mean, there's some other people that show up in some flashback things here and there, but really it's her. I have this feeling that this film was filmed during a certain time when nobody was with each other, because it feels like it was just one person and a camera. So.
Yeah, it does feel like.
But yeah, so I will. Sean, what'd you think of No One Will Save You?
It was a low sidekick.
Low sidekick.
It's a low sidekick. This was stupid. I didn't like anything of it. I didn't like the way the aliens looked. They looked so fucking cheap. Yeah,
we can't really talk too much. It's just came out, so we're gonna have to do a spoiler warning.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. I mean, I don't know. This is a rough one for me. I was watching it, and I was just like, oh, I see the trailer on Hulu, and I was like, oh man, that looks cool. I start watching this shit. I'm just like, man, this is boring as shit. And then there's like moments where it's like, oh, that's kind of cool, and oh no, it really isn't. it's like, what am I watching here? Is this like the old CG? Like, I didn't like it. It wasn't good. Wasn't really scary. Like, there was no. Is this even horror?
It's in the horror genre. It's up there. Horror thrillers.
There were some cool moments though. There were like some really cool, like the neck shit was cool, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's listed under horror sci-fi thriller. So,
it was alright. It wasn't good. I didn't like it.
Steve?
I'm gonna disagree with almost everything Sean just said. I thought the aliens looked awesome. I thought they looked great. I loved all the different sizes. They had like different tier aliens.
They did
like a video game. It was like, that's the big one, that's the little one that's feisty, and that's that big motherfucking boss level alien. And then, like, I don't know, I thought the UFOs looked pretty cool. The gimmick of there being no dialogue was it caught a little grating, but at the same time, like, it really let the actress kind of shine. I thought. I mean, there was times where I was like, well, you would definitely be saying something right now.
Did you like the ending of it?
No, this movie wouldn't. That's the problem, Sean. This movie wouldn't fucking end. It just wouldn't end. There were so many times it could have ended, and it just kept going and going and going. And then the final end, I was just like, that's what drove it down to a sidekick. I was at a high sidekick, but it's just a regular sidekick because the ending fucking pissed me off. Like, if the ending would have just ended with her on the fucking. Oh, see, I can't. I don't want to talk too much about it.
I don't know.
Like, if the ending would have ended like 5 minutes before, then I would have been like, oh, that's much better. But I didn't like this whole, like, because we have to unpack the ending and what it really means.
Yeah.
But I like. Here's the thing, like, aliens. I'm a big fan of like cryptids, right? I love Bigfoots. I love fucking, anything that's like werewolves, Wendigos, the Jersey Devil, aliens, right? And when you think, we've had plenty of good alien movies, but nothing really good when it comes to like the classic gray aliens. And when I think aliens, first thing that comes to my head is like Roswell. It's like Alien Autopsy. It's that kind of alien. It's not the xenomorph or the aliens from Star Wars. You know what I mean? It's the classic gray alien. And the problem with that is the same problem with all those other mythical creatures that I just listed, is there's plenty of movies about them, but they're all mostly shit. And so every now and then you get one that's like pretty decent. And like this one, like this is probably the best the gray aliens have looked in any of the movies that have featured the gray aliens.
I guess you're right. You're right on that note. You are like
they didn't look this good in Fire in the Sky, but that's probably the only other good like gray alien movie.
I mean, what was it? Signs?
Ooh, Signs was good, and that was kind of classic gray aliens. I do love me some Signs. I love
Signs. Signs Alien was really good.
Yeah, but this movie had more aliens than Signs had. Signs was like, I want you to see the alien through the fucking TV reflection. I want you to see the alien in the shadows.
I like
this
that
one.
Mystery of that shit.
This one was like, I'm going to show you the fucking alien. And a lot of the times, like, I love the close-ups on the alien faces. Like, it was good. I liked it. I liked it more than I didn't. But the ending really took the wind out of my sails. I'm kind of like floating in between high sidekick and sidekick. I'll kind of make my final decision towards the end after we talk about it. You guys might talk me down. I don't know. But I liked it a lot more than I didn't. But oof, that ending. Oof. Again, I thought the main actress here, did a great job. Great job. So, Lou?
It's tough because I think the actress did do a good job. I get the story. I get the beats of the story. I get the guilt.
And that's all without dialogue.
Exactly.
So,
but I was bored to freaking tears.
Do you think that was because nobody was talking? And they were just like, fuck. Like,
I don't know.
Don't have that interaction.
But I understood it, right? Like, I understood everything. I don't know if it was that. It just seemed like it just seemed a bit boring. I don't know why. I know that there was action scenes. I mean, she killed multiple aliens. She blew one up. I mean, there was things that happened.
I mean, the first.
I wasn't engaged. Maybe you're right, Steve. Maybe it was the talk. There was no dialogue, so I didn't like really get in with the characters. It took me a while.
Enough.
Yeah, and it took me a while to figure out like why she's at we'll break it down even more in spoilers, but she's at a grave site and she gets spit in the face, and I'm putting the pieces together, but I'm like, it feels like it's too much work for me to put the pieces together.
It was slow.
You have to really pay attention.
Yeah, that was a slow fucking thing to put those pieces together, and I was like, man.
And I said it. By the time this comes out, the show we did at episode 73, I think I made the comment that this would have been a great episode of the X-Files, right? Like, I think it was just that the thing was, it was too long. If you condense this down, didn't give me a lot of the and it's weird because again, there's
give it to
dialogue,
me in one
right?
night. Don't give it to me in 2 nights. Give it to me in one night.
Exactly. Truncate it. Give me the quick story. I think you'd have been better off. And I didn't hate the ending. We'll get to the ending part because the ending tells me a different story. Like, now the ending in a way makes sense, but we'll talk about it when we get to spoilers. But I just felt I was kind of not engaged. And who knows? Maybe it was just my mental at that moment. I've been tired all week. It's just maybe, maybe because you have to really follow and there's no dialogue that I wasn't.
You have to pay attention to every frame. You have to look.
It's just like when we talk about watching, like anime or foreign films where we have to read, right? And I'm not saying that we can't read, but it's just sometimes it's just hard to keep 2 hours of full engagement, hour and a half of full engagement
with no dialogue,
and then there's no dialogue. So you're trying to like piece everything together, and maybe I'm just.
And I think that while that is a valid complaint, it's also like.
And what makes it
was their goal. That was
right.
That's the whole point of the movie.
I agree.
It's hard, and I knew it too. Me and Rachel were watching it. I was like, somebody's gonna have to say something at some point, right? She's like, it's gonna happen at the end. She's gonna say one thing at the end, and
Yeah.
But like, there was a lot that happened. Let's just get into.
You know what?
Let's get.
I was gonna say, let's get into spoilers.
Spoilers.
So there's a lot that happened in the middle that didn't necessarily need to be there, right? Like, so she's there. We're not getting dialogue. She's in this town. She's at her house. You can kind of tell she hasn't been there in a while. She's looking at Maud. You know, she's writing this letter to Maud saying she feels guilty. So you're getting all this. You see the picture. Oh, that's her friend Maud when she was a little girl. Okay, so something happened, right? So it was, maybe I didn't know. Like, did she do something wrong? Did her friend die of cancer? Who knows? You know, your mind's going everywhere because there's no fucking dialogue.
Yeah.
Then we get our first initial alien encounter. Then after that, which is a great fucking scene, it's high tension. It's amazing. It ends with her killing a fucking gray alien.
Right to the fucking head.
But that's after, like, you know, full on, like, this is like superhero shit, fucking throwing tables through walls, fucking floating around. I thought,
but you know what? It really wasn't warranted. Her that death was like, she should have been caught. Like,
Oh no, she has like the most unbelievable luck of anybody.
Yeah,
but that's fine.
I was lucky, but like, she was
I'm
really
lucky. I'm okay with that. You're following her journey. If she gets killed and snatched right here, the movie's over. So, you know, and it's through the alien's own hubris that he gets killed. He kills himself. He spins her around, and she has that thing in her hand. Like,
but my problem was, it was dumb. It wasn't really dumb luck. It was just like, this is stupid luck. Like, this is like, she's running and like she's quiet, but she's not even fucking quiet. And I'm
but I loved, man, that scene where she's like hiding in the refrigerator, and like the hands come over and the head.
Was so fucking stupid though.
I thought that was awesome. That's classic horror movie shit, bro. That's fucking great. I loved it. I thought that was great. I love those slow reveals. The music was great. The lighting was great. The special effects looked fucking killer. I thought, especially when she stabbed the alien in the fucking head, the way he was like, its eyes were all wide and it was like trying to breathe but couldn't, you know, like I was like, holy shit, like, I've never seen anything like that. I don't know about Twinkle Toes. That was a little new. That was a little different, but, you know, whatever.
I was going to say, the design of the legs and everything, that was unique, you know.
It was, I thought the sound design was good. I thought all the sounds that UFOs made and the sounds that the aliens made were really cool. It sounded like they had their own language.
The UFOs look like buttholes. They're like pulsating.
They took inspiration from Nope.
You're right.
Yeah.
But then after this initial fight, right? Like, then there's this whole huge long sequence before we get the next night. And like, honestly, none of it really amounts to anything. Like, this whole, like, I mean, she goes to the police station and she gets the lady that spits on her face, and you're like, okay, like, it shows you the name tags, you're kind of putting the pieces together. But then, like, she like tries to run away in like the most ridiculous costume ever on a bus, and then like some guy attacks her and like does some crazy shit on the bus, and I thought this was all like a dream. No. Like, this shit really happened. It was weird. And then she just gets off the bus and starts running, and then we're at the fucking graveyard for a minute, and then we're back, and she's like, she gets all pissy and she's like, I'm gonna Home Alone this shit. And I was like, sweet, we're gonna get a montage of her setting booby traps and like doing all this cool shit. No, she shuts the blinds, she tacks a fucking blanket to the wall and grabs a box cutter. And I'm like, why is this badass? Why is any of this badass? But then, like, you know, that whole next scene I thought was great. The alien assault on the house. The second one, you get that little alien, you know, you get the big ass fucking praying mantis looking alien. And you get that one that kind of like is almost like Ebony Maw, the one that's in the basement that's just like tossing her around and shit, and like really studying the pictures of her and all that stuff. Like, you kind of got the feeling that alien was kind of there to not necessarily hurt her, but we're more just kind of study what was going on. Whereas the other ones, they were there to cause some damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's odd because like you kind of needed that to kind of flesh out how she feels in the town, right? Like, why would she need a costume to leave? Like, all these different weird things happen in between.
But that doesn't explain.
But it all felt like it was not necessary.
Well, it doesn't explain where she's been for the last 10 years, or
none of it. Yeah.
When she came back, or what's happening.
Why?
Yeah.
Why she came back. It's very. Because they tried it with this no dialogue, it feels like something was missing. And I think when you try to have that in between sequence between the two nights, you need to have something. You need to tell some kind of story for this girl. You did, but you didn't. Not enough. Not enough for me to actually feel bad or want her to come to terms. Like,
yeah, I felt no remorse for her. Like at all. I was
no. She's even when you get her full backstory, you're like,
yeah.
I kind of get why that lady spit in your face. You're a horrible person, but I did like
exactly like
we have to get to the ending, but like I liked how she dispatched the little alien. She fucking impaled him and then wham with the fucking cupboard door. Like this girl, if nothing else, she is a big stickler in the aliens' plans. She is fucking all of them up, and it doesn't matter which fucking one they throw at her. She's like, I'll kill that one. You want to send me the little one? I'll kill that one. You want to send me the big one? I'm gonna blow that motherfucker up. Watch. Holy shit.
She
is putting the work in.
How is she putting the work? Like
by luck. By
dumb luck. Dumb fucking luck.
I know.
And then there's little scenes too, like after she blows the big one up in the car and she's like just walking around. I'm like, why are you just there's more out there. He was just calling to them. Like, why are you just walking around? I did think that was cool, like the beams of light, how they were showing how strong it was. Like it crushed that one pan against the wall, and she kicked that one dude, and it like snapped his fucking back and yanked him up. I was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, but she got picked up in nothing.
Well, but she wasn't. She was all the way in the beam. You know what I mean? Like I think it makes a difference if half of you is in and half of you is out, kind of thing.
But even that, like the beam, like when she was in the house and being thrown around.
That was awesome.
You would have assumed that the beam was powerful enough to bust her through.
I liked all this. I liked it. I liked the alien fucking walking in hella slow and turning around and looking at her and getting all close. Like, I love the classic gray alien design. Oh, I forgot to mention Paul. That's a good gray alien movie. And that's sad that's like the best one we got is Paul, but that's a good movie. But like, I like the look of those aliens. I always have. It's like one of those classic things, and I think that this movie did them justice. So
no,
I'm happy and excited every time I'm seeing them on screen.
I didn't hate how the aliens look like. Again, this is why I felt this should have been an episode of X-Files, because like when I watch the X-Files, this is what some of the times you get these kind of aliens, and you're waiting for it more. Like this would have been a great episode of X-Files with Mulder and Scully showing up.
Oh,
that's what you needed.
That'd have been dope as shit.
See, and then they show up and they're talking, but she then starts doing sign language to him. And you're like, oh.
No, that's why you can't talk.
Makes sense. Here we go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Also, let's not forget that our main character gets gutted. She gets stabbed in the tummy.
Yeah, and nothing.
And like, is like cool. She's just hanging out after that. Well, I mean, she is kind of limping around. I did like the whole kind of, I liked it, but I didn't like when she gets pulled into the alien ship. I kind of wanted to see like, ooh, like let's take a cool like lab or something, but it's really, really, really
black. Well, again, low budget. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with
I
what
liked
the aliens are doing too. Like
the way that they kind of threw her into her backstory. That was cool. It gives us that look. I liked how it like looked like she was walking through like a scene, like,
and we forgot to say that like the one alien like spit out this parasite to put inside of her because it's invasion of the body snatchers. Like they are taking over the human race by putting pieces of them or whatever it is inside her. That was kind of gross.
Gross.
That was nasty. When he spits it up, you're like, ugh. And then it like starts unfolding. You're like, ugh.
Oh yeah, you're like, ooh, man.
And it's going all into her mouth. You're like, ah.
So gross.
He just loogied in your mouth.
But it's invasion of the body snatchers, which is a cool concept. I've always loved that. But it's like, how does she get over it and nobody else does? So quickly.
I know, right?
Yeah, she just kind of pulls it out. But I'm like, I mean, in the dream sequence, she shoves her whole arm down there. I'm like, well, that's because it's in the dream sequence. But then it comes out of the dream sequence and she's just standing there with it in her hand. I'm like, well, how the fuck did you do that? How'd you get that over there? You didn't really put your arm in your mouth like that. That's not how the human body works.
It was like, it was way. I was like, ooh. Hey, girl.
Sounds like performance hero.
Hey, girl, how you doing?
Oh man! And so then she goes through her trauma, we see her basically kill. I'm guessing that's Maud.
Yeah. And you see that Maud was only alive for 12 years, so this is a minute ago.
Yeah. So, and I guess they got into a fight, and she grabbed a rock and smashed her in the face with it, murdering her.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, yeah, why aren't you in juvie? And
Maybe she was, and then she just got out, and she's back at her home.
well, it would have been great to explain all that.
Yeah, true.
And then what do we get here? She ends up going through all this and then wakes back up at home. She wakes back up at home, walks outside, and everything is happy. And all her neighbors are liking her. The town loves her now. They're dancing.
But they're all aliens because they're all like
right. They're all aliens.
Yeah, they're all zombies.
Yeah, I'm assuming that her body was taken over too. Then, right?
No, she accepted it. She's accepted living with them. And accepted them for who they are.
Is that what it was?
And the aliens accepted her. Yeah, so it's like a totally villains win movie. And she's like cool with it. I was like, you're a bad person. Like, you're okay with like the whole world being like fucked because you can like have little dances and shit.
Well, right. That town, because
the end of it reminded me of that Vivarium movie a little. And that's never a good thing to be reminded of. So that's why it was like.
I hated that movie so much.
I hated it. It was the music, it was the dancing, it was the way that the fucking UFOs were flying around in the sky with the cursive writing at the end. I was like, I don't like this. No. I liked everything up to this.
Agreed. So there you go. That's it. Check it out. It's on Hulu if you want to watch it. I just didn't care for it. I just didn't. It was.
I'm with you.
I just didn't care for it. So. All right, well, that's it for tonight. This is Lil.
This is Sean.
And this is Steven. Until tomorrow night, everybody, keep it creepy.